Hey guys, back again this week. And I was reading through Mark and I found something that I thought was interesting in that we as Christians need to be careful about. And Jesus tells it in a short little story at the very beginning of Mark chapter 6. And I think this sums up some of what I'm trying to do here with these videos is I'm trying to break down expectations about what we have or what we've heard or what we think we know about what Jesus has planned for us, about what Jesus' mission here is on the earth, about what being a Christian is all about. And we are trying to go back to the Bible, to its account, and see what it really has to say and let it shape our view first of who Jesus is, so that we can actually come to know Jesus, that we can actually come to know God, that like the Bible is leading us to, that Jesus, this historical figure who is also, I believe, the Son of God, who died and rose again and did that to save me and to set me in a right relationship with God the Father, that I can know what he was really all about. But there's a danger in thinking sometimes that I know what Jesus is about really well. Jesus' mission is so big and so life-changing and so different than what you and I, in our sin, in our brokenness, in our selfishness, in our self-centeredness, like to think that we are, what we like to think that is important, what we spend our time and our energy pursuing, and just the way that we see the world around us. Jesus portrays it in such a different way that we can sort of take something that looks sort of like Jesus and mold it into something that we like. So we think that it's Jesus and we call it Jesus, but it really isn't Jesus. It just sort of looks like him and it kind of sounds like him. And it might kind of use some of the phrases from the Bible that we know that Jesus said, but it isn't Jesus. And this is fake Christianity. Fake Christianity is this Christianity that molds a Jesus that kind of sounds like the one from the Bible, but really cares about the things that we care about. And is okay with some of the issues that we have, but not okay with the issues of others. And Jesus is going to experience people like this in his day that are having this problem with him, the actual person. They knew him and they could still make a fake Jesus in their minds, right? That was truer than the real Jesus in front of them. This is what happens. Mark chapter 6, verse 1. Here we go. He, Jesus, went away from there and came to his hometown. Everybody here should know how cool Jesus is, right? Everybody here should know the miracles and the power and the wisdom that he possesses. It's his hometown. And his disciples followed him. And on the Sabbath, that's kind of like their Sunday, he began to teach in the synagogue, kind of like church. So Jesus comes home and they're like, sick. Jesus is home. He's so full of wisdom in the Spirit. We're going to let him teach in the synagogue. And that's something that they did. They let men in the community teach in the synagogue. And many who heard him were astonished. And they began saying, where did this man get these things? And what is the wisdom given to him? How are such mighty works done by his hands? Is he not this carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James and of James and Jose and Judas and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they took offense at him. So Jesus comes home and he preaches, and he's full of wisdom. The people hear his wisdom. They hear his power. They hear him speaking fervently and with conviction about who he is, that he is the Messiah, that he is the one come to save humanity, and he is the only way back to God. And these people, even though they hear the wisdom and they see the wisdom and they've known Jesus and they let him teach, they cannot accept what he has to say. It's too much. It's too big. The claim that Jesus is the only way for you and me to be saved, that's the only way for you and me to live life as it was meant to be lived, is to know Jesus and through him to be set right with God the Father and to be healed from our sin and brokenness. Man, that was too much for these people. And these were the Jewish people. They were waiting for Messiah. They were waiting for a Savior. And Jesus says, it's me. And the people who knew him best and who should have known that it was him, they just couldn't believe it, even when they saw it right in front of him. They don't say, he isn't wise, he isn't powerful. They say, what is this wisdom and power? But could it be Jesus? No. They shape a Jesus, a Messiah that is not the man that they see in front of them. They have an idea of a Savior of God's plan that doesn't match up with God's plan in Jesus Christ. And that is so dangerous, guys. That's so dangerous. Because you and I, a lot of times when we grow up in the church and we hear something about Jesus, we think we know what Jesus is all about. We think we know everything that Jesus has for us. And we think, man, I got this. Man, I don't need to read that Bible anymore. Man, I don't need to get to know Jesus anymore. Man, I don't have to confront my sin and my brokenness and my selfishness. I don't need to continue to change, pursue a relationship with God. I got that. Man, I grew up in church. I know the stories. I got that. I know who Jesus is. And the story confronts us. That if these people didn't know what the Savior looked like, and he stood in front of them, maybe you and I in the church, we need to take a step back when we say, man, I know Jesus. I got this. I know all there is to know. I read the Bible and stuff. It's fine. Whatever. I got this Christian thing done. I know what Jesus is about. I'm not doing anything that bad. And Jesus says, no. There is a need in your life for serious change. And I have a plan for you. I have a plan for you, but you have to get out of this mindset where you think you know everything that's going on and you need to turn away from this Jesus, this Savior, this plan, God's plan that you created in your own head and your own heart that's a false plan. And you need to get in the Bible, and you need to get in community, and you need to get in the church, and you need to learn Jesus' plan for you. You need to learn God's plan for you. You need to be submitted under other people and listening to what they have to say. You need to be in the Bible daily and figuring out what God has to say about you and for you. And this is what Jesus has to say. Listen. And Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor. Man, a prophet has honor. People who are living outside where this prophet is, they hear him speak and they say, man, this guy's full of wisdom and power. Let's get behind him. Except for in his hometown and among his relatives and in his own house. Jesus says, those who have heard about me the most and think they know me best and who have been around me and have just kind of been desensitized to my message, man, they don't hear what I'm really trying to say. Those people who are in sin, those people who have never heard of Jesus, those people who have never heard the good news that Jesus died to save them, man, when they hear the good news of Jesus, they get to encounter the real Jesus. They get to encounter the Jesus face first. They are not desensitized to the message that Jesus has that we are sinners and we need a Savior. But you and I, man, we grow up and we hear this stuff. And even people who haven't grown up like going to church every Sunday, they grow up and they hear this stuff and they think they know what Jesus is about. But they don't. They're from the Christian hometown. And they think they got this Jesus stuff squared away. But Jesus lets us know that if we want to be changed by him, we need to stop thinking that we know what his plan is and submit and get in and figure out what his plan for us is. And it says this weird thing at the end here. And Jesus could do no mighty work there except he laid his hands on a few sick people and he healed them. And he marveled. He was astonished. He was so surprised because of that people's unbelief. And he went about among the villages teaching. Jesus, when he comes to this people, to this hometown, to these people who think they knew who he is, but are unwilling to accept what he actually has to say, that are unwilling to be changed by his message, who are unwilling to submit to his authority, who are unwilling to live lives totally sold out for Jesus. Jesus shows up there and he says, listen, I can work on the people who don't believe in me at all. They can hear the message and they can come to know it. But you already know it and you already think you know the message. And you won't hear the new message and you won't listen to anything I have to say. And so my power to change, my power to help you, it's worthless. Because you've been desensitized. You've already written this off. You already said, Jesus, I know better. I know what's going on. So I want to challenge you guys. do not live in a sort of way where you think, man, I just do a lot of good stuff. I'm a pretty moral person. And I know a lot of the Bible stories, and I know the story of Easter, right? I've even prayed the sinner's prayer, and I know what Jesus is all about. So I'm good. I don't really need to read the Bible. I don't really need to seek Him continually. I don't really need to know what God's plan for humanity is, what God's plan for the church is, what God's plan for me is. I know it. I got it. I'm good. Thanks, Jesus. Because if you take that attitude and you're not willing to see what Jesus is up to in your life, if you're not willing to listen to what He has to say because you already have a preconceived notion of what Jesus' plan for you is, or what his mission is in your life, or you are not willing to grow and listen to what He has to say, even if it's hard to hear, the work of Jesus in your life is going to grind to a stop. Those things that Jesus could be doing in your life, making you into a better person, growing you closer in relationship with Him, helping you overcome sin and brokenness, it is not going to be happening for those people who are pursuing their own fake Jesus. So I'm praying for you guys. And I pray this for myself too. I have to be careful that as we look into this, that we continually seek and be humble and asking Jesus to show us who He is and what His plan is, and that we continue to learn. Because guess what? You can spend your whole life in this book and still learn more. You are never, ever, ever, ever going to outgrow the Bible. You are never, ever, ever going to outgrow needing to continually go back to Jesus and submit to Him and ask to learn and ask to grow. That's just the Christian life, guys. And it might sound frustrating, and I don't want it to come across that way. In fact, it's beautiful, because Jesus, as we continue to fail and as our brokenness persists in this life, He has a promise, and we have a foretaste as He continues to work on us patiently, never giving up on us, always continuing to work with us, always drawing close to us, always desiring to know us more and to save us and to continue to love us. And this is this taste of what heaven is going to be like. We're going to be completely loved and completely in relationship and completely restored. And that's good news. Hey, I hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. And if you want to, swing by on Friday, and we will be having an online meeting at 7:30 at the Google Meets link in my account subscription bio. I don't know what Instagram things are called. Anyways, hey, bye-bye.